Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This time is sharing thoughts. My channel name and So basically, this time I want to do a little bit like a sharing. It's already been a while. So just for you a little bit updates. So I quit my university and somehow right now I'm being a part-time in church and somehow yep. I don't want to talk too much about like I'm doing inside the church. Somehow like they asked me to I mean not everything I can just say it out. Somehow. Mainly for the chombo and as well as like church environmental improvement. Thingy. Somehow yeah. So because of a lot of reasons, and somehow like our church can't really be treated as a church up until right now. Yeah, there's a lot of reason behind it. Or we shouldn't call it like a lot of reason, but somehow in the end we cannot just treat it as a church thingy. And somehow like we we notice as a members we do notice like yeah uh somehow this made us a little bit troublesome, especially when we are talking about like our church. We want to have more significance or like a gathering or like our own symbols thingy. To be honest, a lot of things we can't really do up until right now. Which is so bad, I would say. But just for me, reminding like where am I in the past year? I mean, the past 1 year in Jumbo Training Center. And I just realized something that is so important. Somehow, maybe the small differences, it will just can make a huge difference. So if you're trying to say that, the church is like asking about money and that's why you don't want to come to church, I don't think that is the main reason about it. I'm not saying that church is supposed to keep on asking money from the members. No. It's not supposed to be in this way. But if you put it as a reason for the members to want to come to church, no, I don't think that's the main reason. That is much more like a result. So if you're trying to understand this way, like if you go outside, you go to buy something, you don't say that you're earning much more than what you are supposed to earn. Like you will just put onto the reason, oh, I have costs, I have like a rental and all the electrical bills, water bills, and a lot of things I need to pay it off. Somehow church have the same type of logic, right? Somehow we still need to pay people's like a salary off. At the same time, we are doing a lot of like a donation thingy, and somehow we do still have a lot of like this kind of cost. And but then like whenever like if the church is like trying to asking for money, a lot of time it will be a troublesome thingy because it will sounds like we are really going go on to like a vainglory thingy. Vainglory means that you are really just trying to be glorisome in the outer external way. So that's why. But then somehow when we're trying to think about it, outside outside business themselves, like why we are happily trying to give our money out in a sense, is much more because of they give us like the emotional support or like the emotional values that they can just provide onto us in a sense. So what is the emotional value inside our church? We need to try to form onto it. So basically, firstly, self-value, obviously. But self-value itself, what we build self-value on, we build self-value on to God's original idea of creation. So it's something like really something we're trying to make everyone have an environment, trying to be dedicated, to put their devotions onto it. I think that is the main thing that we are supposed trying to talk about it. That's the main thing we need to try to focus on to it as well. But then, if we're trying to just keep on asking like members to do by themselves, somehow it's like useless. if we're trying to understand this way. So I'm trying to, I mean, for the church itself, the existence of the church will be useless. So I'm trying to find like a more things that I can try to find. Like if I'm trying to do a comparison together with like a Chombo training center. Firstly, I think uh, it's not about the stuff; it's about the culture inside there. Um, so what's the culture that I think mainly we need to try to do? Hi, hello, and good morning culture. That's the first thing we are supposed to trying to do. And it's not like, yeah, oh, you just been here. And yeah, I just saw you and I don't even need to say hi. It's like saying hi is like really the first step that we're trying to recognize someone's existence is right in front of us somehow. This is the first thing. So it's like we are supposed to practice it among our staff. We are supposed to practice among our members, and the only person we can try to ask to do it is, okay, maybe myself, as well as the person around us, and trying to do it as a culture so people just follow without you trying to educate them to follow, but it's much more like you're trying to letting them to know, yeah, this is the culture that we are trying to do right now. That's the first thing. And for the second point, I'm thinking about it is that the influences of the music itself, especially like if you're trying to go to Chombo Training Center, it's not everywhere having musics somehow, but at a certain time we have a certain musics, and at a certain space or a certain location we also have like a certain music onto it. Like just for example, Chunchmon. So in Chunchmon, our prayer room, we are supposed to play the music 24. It's not 24/7 somehow. Like in Champion they don't do it 24/7 right now, but if we're trying to understand in this way, is that we at least for the from the day to the night, right before we sleep, we are supposed to make it a routine that our members, when they just come to the prayer room, they will just have a sense that yes, here the environment right here is prepared for me, and I'm totally feel free to do the devotion, and I will be happy to be right here. Yeah, I think that's the main thing right there. And next, talking about it, to be honest, not so much yet. But talking about like Chongpyong, what's the differences between Chongpyong and the Malaysia church right now? Is that Malaysia church is pretty boring. I mean, up until now for me. I mean, okay, yeah, you see the background, so you know that I'm just at my home, and somehow, yeah, because I'm having like a serious food poisoning, so that's why I'm taking a rest in my home. And yeah, things are trying to be progressive a little bit more and more. But then the thing that I found out is much more like, yeah, so what we are supposed to trying to do within this, like such a small space, but at the same time we're trying to create a much more better environment. Yeah, so like if we can just trying to provide like a food service or anything that is nice, or somehow when I'm trying to recall like a Chomongong church itself, it's no, it's Chongwon Church. Sorry, it's not Chongwon Church, but Chongwon Church. There's the church like around like a Chongpyong, not like Gapyeong. So inside Gapyeong, there's our church, and as well as the training center, and as well as the Chunjeonggong and Chongwon. So Chongwon Church. So in the Chongwon Church, somehow they are being registered as organization. So somehow, yeah, they're selling coffee, but at the same time, I found really interesting is that they provide free lunch for the members. Somehow they provide it, like that's the good sign. And secondly, it's much more like the main thing, the basic thing is that don't try to leave members going out empty-handed. So right now I'm thinking, do we have any way trying to run everything like as appreciations for our members? And the church is much more like the position of the embodiment of heavenly parent, and trying to take care of our members who are coming to the church and trying to heal their hearts. And so then at least letting them trying to feel some of the care from the church, some care from the pastors, some care from the staff in the church. So maybe they can't do everything, since especially Chinese culture, somehow we are too much into like the calling about profits and everything. I mean, profits itself is a good thing if we're trying to talk about sustainability, but if we're too much into it, then we're just trying to be too much conservative. And it's not like conservative to the culture; it's like a conservative for your selfish thoughts and gains onto it, and that will be dangerous. So somehow I'm thinking if we can try to make a little bit more steps onto it, like coming with like the feeling of love itself. And yeah, we just like we'll just give it out to the members. And if they are taking too much, and we can just try to tell them that like it is like everybody please take one. Please don't take more than one, because we have more brothers and sisters that also want to take it, that also want to receive it. I think everybody was just trying to be caring, much more caring and much more lenient in this way. And people are being much more able to be like trying to talk with each other. And maybe we can try to work together with like a bakery and something at least at first. Yeah, right. And somehow, I don't think our church right now is like an organization. I mean, as the building itself is not being registered in this way at least. So yeah, like if we are trying to selling things itself, it would be a little bit suspicious. But to be honest, I'm thinking like the ideal church is much more like, okay, we have a building, we can have our activities inside, but at the same time outside, actually we are welcoming outside people to come. And what do we mean like we are welcoming outside people to come is that we're trying to create like a business space that our church is running somehow, like, okay, maybe a coffee stop or whatever thingy, that people just think about us and they're like, oh yeah, they have like a good things to eat, and somehow the people right there are nice, and we'll try to run onto it. And because we are running onto it, so people will be like, oh yeah, so what's the building about? And they were just trying to know more and more about it. And like the business part itself, we do need to like trying to say that, oh, it's for non-Muslim. As that, okay, anyone, people who want to just come and eat or drink is okay, is available right there. But just the building inside it, like, okay, yeah, maybe it will be a little bit more like a church itself. So if you mind about it, yeah, like for Muslim, you don't come in. It's talking about much more like the accountability onto it, especially when we talk about like a religion's law and everything. But other than that, it would be like a very good idea, I think, for people to trying to know more about our church. And like definitely there will be outside people who trying to be mean to our church, like through like our external business program itself. But at the same time, it will be much more obvious. Like we can just trying to see onto like people in this way, and we can try to be more like an opportunity for our people, for our members, and for our full time as well. So we can try to hire more like members, or like a second chance, like if we're trying to understand in this way. Or maybe we can just even like make it a machine so everything can just run automatically. Everything could be a yes in the end, but just the legal and also like the methodology itself is like it means the most thing for us right now, from what I understand and from whatever like we are looking into it. Yeah. And somehow like if I try to talk about like a church itself, to be honest, I think always we need some symbols around it. Like just thinking about it. You go into Chunjonggung and you just notice like Chunjonggung don't put anything about our church. They just put like a random famous people photo on a wall, maybe some parliaments, maybe some K-pop idols, maybe some other things. Then you don't feel the symbols right there. Like you don't find something that you can recognize as part of you, especially when we are calling like a church building. And so then I think it's always so important for us to have a symbol of something. Cheonryuk, like the heavens drawing, if I'm not mistaken, like heavens drawings, True Parents photo, and even like even we try to put like a True Father's podium, like somehow like we keep it, but True Father's podium, some spots for everybody to look onto it, not hiding, but it's like to look onto it, to see onto it. I think it will be helping a lot for our members to recognize that, oh yeah, that's our True Father. And we are trying to make it modernized in a sense, so we have more system we can just run onto it, but system means to be automated somehow, in a sense. I mean, it's not something that we need to keep on controlling onto it. So we can spend more time onto like a brothers, it's just hard, instead of like we trying to just keep on focusing onto like what was the minor things that or the technical issues that we need to be solving. So if our church we can keep on running onto it, I think it will be helping a lot for our members, a lot for our like a lot of things that can just make everybody really really happy. Like instead of like trying to be called professionally, but it's much more like everybody being happy in a sense. They found their home, that which True Parents and Heavenly Parents and True Parents is trying to take care of them with love. So I think that's the whole point that right now I'm thinking. And yeah, to be honest, I still don't know how should I try to run everything in this way. Like it's ideal. And ideal itself, it means that I miss some troubles or like the possible threats that I didn't really calculate into my thinking. Yeah, so somehow, yeah, I just share it as my ideas, and somehow I think it will be possible in the future. Somehow, maybe home church, whatever. Like let's see what we can do. Yeah. So if you enjoy my video, yeah, please like it and share it. And somehow, yeah, we try to make it a better church in a sense. Trying to make it better and better. Let's work together. Bye bye.